Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 17th of September. Growing radicalisation posing peace and security-related challenges in the region, says Indian PM Modi at SCO meet. Kabul's COVID-19 hospitals concerned about medicine supplies after Taliban control. And people in Nepal observe Vishwakarma Puja festival amid pandemic. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday virtually addressed the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, where he called for developing of template by the 8-member grouping to effectively deal with the challenges of extremism and radicalisation. The SCO is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. It's the first SCO summit being held in hybrid format in Tajikistan's capital, Dushanbe.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said that the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, must work on countering radicalisation on priority while citing the developments in Afghanistan. Addressing the 21st annual summit of SCO in Tajikistan's capital Dushanbe virtually, PM Modi said tackling the threat was crucial to ensuring a bright future for the youth. Modi said that India is committed to increasing its connectivity with Central Asia. Leaders of the key regional security bloc discussed Afghanistan, a neighbouring country of the SCO's largely Central Asian members, in which the Taliban took power a month ago.
मेरा मानना है कि इस क्षेत्र में सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियां शांति, सुरक्षा और ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट से संबंधित है और इन समस्याओं का मूल कारण बढ़ता हुआ रेडिकलाइजेशन है। अफगानिस्तान में हाल के घटनाक्रम ने इस चुनौती को और स्पष्ट कर दिया है। इस मुद्दे पर एससीओ को पहल लेकर कार्य करना चाहिए।
Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar represented India at the SCO summit in person and met several of his SCO counterparts in Dushanbe. Jaishankar also got a chance to interact with new Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. The SCO summit meeting is the first that is being held in a hybrid format, in person and virtual, and is the fourth SCO summit which India is attending as a full-fledged member of the grouping.
India's northern Punjab's regional political party Shiromani Akali Dal held a protest march in capital New Delhi on Friday to mark 1 year of the introduction of contentious farm laws that aim to liberalise the agriculture sector. Hundreds of farmers have continued to camp on major highways outside the national capital to oppose the laws since November last year, while several rounds of talks have failed to break the deadlock.
Members and leaders of Indian breadbasket state Punjab's regional political party Shiromani Akali Dal held a protest march in capital New Delhi on Friday to mark 1 year of the introduction of contentious farm laws that aims to liberalise the agriculture sector. Leaders of Shiromani Akali Dal, a former ally of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, planned to take the march from Sikh shrine of Rakabganj up to the Parliament House. However, they were stopped by Delhi police and several protesters were detained. Akali Dal party leader and a former minister in Modi government, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, said if the government does not withdraw the black laws against the farmers, then it should know that its countdown has begun.
किसान आदि हक दे सस्ती लड़ाई में उन्होंने गल नहीं मानी ते फिर यह सरकार उल्टी गिनती तो पिछले साल शुरू हो गई थी 2024 साडे वास्ते दूर नहीं.
The government says the laws introduced last September allow farmers to directly sell their produce to big buyers outside government-regulated wholesale markets and will help them get better prices. But the farmers believe they will leave them at the mercy of private players. Tens of thousands of farmers have camped on major highways outside New Delhi to oppose the laws since November last year, while several rounds of talks have failed to break the deadlock.
Millions of Afghans were already displaced in a country that is battling drought and the COVID-19 pandemic. As displaced huddle in camps, aid agencies are worried that the overcrowded conditions could bring a new surge in coronavirus cases. Hospital officials in capital Kabul are worried about medical supplies, especially for the treatment of COVID-19 patients, as the Taliban remains in control of Afghanistan.
Hospital officials in Afghan capital Kabul were worried about medical supplies, especially for the treatment of COVID-19 patients, as the Taliban remains in control of the country. Director of the Afghan Japan Hospital in Kabul, Zalmir Rishtin, said the facility was using medicine from the existing stock and he was unsure about getting new medical supplies anytime soon.
اسلامي امارت راغی لدینه مخکې موږ د یوې روبې لپاره سپلای تیاره کړې وه دوا مو راوړې وه سټاکونه مو ډک وو موږ لا تر اوسه له همغو سټاکونه کار اخلو او داسې خاص مشکل سره نه یو مخامخ سوي پخوا که به یو کلم دوه کلمه دوا کمه شوه موږ به عاجل خریداري کړله اوس هغه یو دوه کلمه چې کم سوي دي خریداري هم نه یې کړي خو ولې مجموع کې موږ سټاک لرو.
Reports suggest that hundreds of medical facilities in Afghanistan are at risk of imminent closure because donors who provide the financing are not allowed to deal with the new Taliban government. More than 3.5 million Afghans were already displaced in a country that is battling drought and the COVID-19 pandemic. As displaced huddle in camps, aid agencies were warning that the overcrowded conditions could bring a new surge in coronavirus cases. Less than 4% of the Afghan population is vaccinated, according to UNICEF. Afghanistan has so far recorded 154,487 coronavirus cases and 7,186 deaths.
Pakistan is home to 1.4 million Afghan refugees, according to UN Refugee Agency data from the beginning of the year. A month after the Taliban took control of Afghanistan, Afghan refugees who have lived in Pakistan for decades say they are pessimistic about economic prospects in the country.
Afghan refugees who have lived in Pakistan for decades said this week they are pessimistic about economic prospects in Afghanistan about a month after the Taliban takeover. Mohammad Nadir arrived as a child from Mazar-e-Sharif over 35 years ago and works as a labourer, staying at an informal refugee camp on the outskirts of Quetta.
اگر افغانستان طالبان آمدم امان شوه مزدوری نباشه اونجا ما چی کنیم اگر اینجا ما ان شاء الله خاطر مزدوری خانه ما صحیح است امان است همینجا ما خاطر همینجا لگاو هستیم که همینجا باشیم یک چند صبح.
Another refugee, Abdullah Khan, who arrived nearly 4 decades ago, said while sanitation and water were poor in the area, life in Pakistan was still a better option than over the border.
تقریبا 15-40 سال کېږي چې موږ راغلي د پاکستان لیکن هغه بس سهار زه خپل روزانه ګټو بس ماښام یې خورو سره لیکن کله یې کله نه یې لیکن دغه ژوند دی نو کله یې کله نه یې خو دغه دلته هم داسې کاروبارونه هم نشته لیکن چې هلته ولاړ شو افغانستان خواته هلته هم کاروبار هم نشته هریان دلته دغه ګلیانې دي وروره دغسې
Donors have pledged more than $1.1 billion to help Afghanistan, where poverty and hunger have spiraled since the Taliban took power, and foreign aid has dried up, raising the spectre of a mass exodus. Last month, the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said up to 500,000 Afghans could flee their homeland by year-end.
More on news from Pakistan. Pakistan Muslim League-Nawaz Party Vice President Maryam Nawaz on Thursday refuted reports of an internal rift and said PML-N Supreme Nawaz Sharif and President Shehbaz Sharif are one. She urged party workers to not pay attention to enemies' propaganda of a split in the party.
PML-N, the Pakistan Muslim League-Nawaz Party Vice President Maryam Nawaz on Thursday refuted reports of an internal rift and said PML-N Supremo Nawaz Sharif and PML-N President Shehbaz Sharif are one. Addressing a second divisional meeting to organize the party at the Union Council level in Lahore city in the absence of Shehbaz Sharif, Maryam urged party workers to not pay attention to enemies' propaganda of a split in the party. According to local media reports, PML-N lawmaker Javed Latif has become a bone of contention between the two brothers, as Nawaz Sharif did not agree with Shehbaz over issuing a show-cause notice to Latif for indirectly levelling serious allegations against him. Javed Latif had told a private news channel that whenever the PML-N's narrative against the government reaches a decisive phase, 4 to 5 leaders try to defuse it. Nawaz reportedly stopped Shehbaz to issue show-cause notice to Latif, asking him to wait for a while. The back-to-back divisional meetings were presided over virtually by Nawaz Sharif from London, but Shehbaz did not attend as mark of silent protest, reports suggest.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Hindu devotees in Nepal on Friday worshipped vehicles and metallurgies to mark Vishwakarma Puja, the festival to mark the birth of Lord Vishwakarma, the Hindu deity of architecture and machinery. The celebrations were, however, subdued due to the ongoing pandemic.
Hindu devotees in Nepal worshipped vehicles and metallurgies on Friday to mark Vishwakarma Puja, the festival to mark the birth of Lord Vishwakarma, the Hindu deity of architecture and machinery. On this day, devotees worship and pay tribute to all those who invented technology and worked in the field of physics for the betterment of people. Locals in Kathmandu performed prayers to Lord Vishwakarma and their vehicles and also made offering to priests. The celebrations were, however, subdued due to the ongoing pandemic.
यो विश्वकर्मा यो पहिलेदेखि चलिआएको चलन हो विश्वकर्माले चाहिँ रक्षा गर्छ यो अब गाडीहरूलाई भनेर पहिलेदेखि विश्वास भएर विश्वकर्मा पूजा गरिन्छ
Special prayers are also conducted by artisans, factory workers and craftsmen on Vishwakarma Puja, which is considered as a time of resolution to increase productivity and gain divine inspiration for creating novel products. As of Friday, Nepal reported 25,772 active cases of COVID-19.
A 5-day international golf tournament is underway in India's Jammu and Kashmir, aiming to promote the valley as a golfing destination and promote tourism. More than 125 golfers are taking part in the tournament.
Amid the pandemic, golf courses in India's Jammu and Kashmir are back to hosting international tournaments. With the most picturesque backdrop and best terrain, a 5-day international golf tournament is currently underway at the Royal Springs Golf Course in Srinagar city. The tournament, which began on September 15, has been organized by the Professional Golf Tour of India in collaboration with Jammu and Kashmir Tourism Department. Over 125 golfers, including famous professional golfer Jyoti Randhawa, are participating in the tournament.
इसमें जो लोग खेलेंगे उनका पॉइंट स्कोर होगा जो इंटरनेशनली माने रखेगा सो जो यहाँ से जीत के जाएगा उसको 2 या 3 पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल में उसकी रैंकिंग में बहुत हद तक ये फैसिलिटेट करेंगे दूसरा इसमें यह है कि इसमें इंडिया के जितने भी इंडिया के श्रीलंका के आपके बांग्लादेश के 126 प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर्स आए हुए हैं
The event aims to promote the valley as a golfing destination and promote tourism as well, since Kashmir's golf courses are considered to be the best in India. The Union Territory has 6 golf courses in total. Out of these, 3 are in Srinagar, 1 in Pahalgam, 1 in Gulmarg and another one in Jammu.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.